Hello everybody and welcome to Filbert Flies. I'm Filbert and this afternoon we are simulating Lauda Motion Flight FR603, owned by Ryanair now of course, from Rhodes to Vienna. This is the return leg of my last live stream, which feels like it was a very long time ago. I can't remember exactly when it was. But anyway, we've got a little bit of time before departure. Hello Yannick, nice to see you. Hello as always to Dazza and Kevin. JP Queepers, nice to see you as well. So I thought what we would do is start with a little look around this Just Sim Rhodes scenery. Our aircraft is parked up over here, but as I say, we're not in any huge rush to depart today. So yeah, let's take a look around. So here's the terminal building, of course, which is quite nicely modelled. And hello Yannick, nice to see you too. Welcome. So yes, the terminal building is quite nicely modelled. We don't have any fancy newfangled features like transparent glass, but it is all quite shiny. And we've got some angelic people up here who seem to have halos around their heads. In fact, their whole bodies are surrounded by some sort of an aura. But it's nice to see a bit of life in the airport anyhow. Yes, this is a payware scenery. It's available from Sim Market. There should be, I think, a link in the description. Over here we have the control tower. And we've got quite a lot of nice airport clutter. Buses, stairs, that sort of thing. Hello Nokley, welcome to the stream. We're just having a quick look around the Just Sim Rhodes Airport scenery. I'm not doing a full review of this one. Well, I don't know, I might if I get very bored. But yeah, it's not bad. I used to own it in prepared, so I got a nice discount for the MSFS version. It's not going to blow your mind with details, and I find the ground looks a little bit too bright and cartoony for my taste. But nonetheless, if you like flying to Greek islands, as I do, it's not bad. It's not a bad one to start with. There's a motorway that seems to unfortunately have been driven straight into the terminal wall, which is a bit of an immersion killer, but only if you're out the front of the terminal, which, you know, I'm not in the general course of things. No clue, thank you very much for the subscription. Nice to see you here. And hello Kingston, and yes, thank you for that, Dazza. €20.16 sounds about right. And if you owned a previous version from an older sim, then it is substantially cheaper than that. I think it might even be 50% off, but don't quote me on it. Right, well, enough sightseeing. I guess it's time to get on board and start setting things up. So I've connected the external power, I've aligned the ADs, turn the nav and logo lights on, and extinguish all of the white lights on the overhead panel. Also got our seatbelt sign on, and our no smoking sign is set to auto. So we'll use FS2 crew, as always, to run the pre-flight events and get things underway.
Let's start setting up, shall we?
How are we doing time-wise? So it's now 7:27 Zulu, and we're due to depart at oh, that's wrong. That UTC time is not what I made it. We're due to depart at 0650 Zulu on 0950 local. So in about 20 minutes. But yes, I think that UTC time is wrong, unless there's been some kind of daylight saving time change that I'm not aware of. Anyway, doesn't matter. Let's brighten our screens up. Yeah, the terminal does look nice. I often find that with Just Sim sceneries. Their modelling's pretty good, but there are other things that just let them down a little bit. I don't know. I don't find this as believable as Vienna, say. It all just looks a little bit too bright and shiny, particularly the ground textures. I've been doing a lot of reviews lately, as regulars among you will have seen. And I've come to the end of a bit of a backlog, so I'm going to be able to do some flying again instead, which is rather more fun. But unfortunately, not quite as popular with subscribers, it seems. Right, turn this one up. And we'll turn the flight director on. We will set local pressure and switch to hectopascals from inches of mercury. Now, I've actually looked at the meta. You'll hear some thunder, which we actually had on arrival last time we were here, which wasn't terribly accurate, but according to the meta, it sounds a lot more plausible. We do have some cumulonimbus around, towering cumulonimbus, so we would expect a bit of thunder and lightning. And the real world QNH at the moment is 1018, so not so far removed from what we're getting in the sim. Oh, interesting question, Dazza. Well, I would consider first of all where in the world you like to fly. So I mostly fly in Europe, but there are a lot of good American sceneries around as well. But I would say my top scenery at the moment is, it's got to be Fly Tampa Copenhagen. I think that is the best that's out so far. But I also really like Vienna, where we're flying to today. And I really like Florence. So I think those are my top three. I think Florence is the most beautiful. But as an A320 pilot, predominantly, it's just not that useful to me. There aren't that many A320 flights there at the moment. So yeah, if you want a big international airport in Europe, I'd choose either Vienna or Copenhagen. If you want the very best quality scenery, I'd probably choose Florence. And if you want to fly in America, then Flightbeam's Denver is really good, and so is FS Dream Team Chicago O'Hare. There you are. That's more than three, but you can take your pick from those, depending on where you like to fly and what sort of flying you do. Right, let's get the MCDU set up. I've planned the flight, as always, using SimBrief and imported it into the sim, so a lot of these details are pre-populated, and that is more like real life than programming your route yourself. This would generally be downloaded wirelessly as part of your setup. So we are FR603. We're using a cost index of 20 today. I will say, yeah, I will accept flight suggestions, Kevin. I've had a few. I will accept more, but yeah, as you know, I like to fly to places that I have scenery for. So I'm a little bit picky from the suggestions I've got. But go ahead, suggest away, and I'll add them to the list. And as and when I fancy doing them, I will. What was our cruising flight level? I just need to check my flight plan. 360. And that will bring our temperature up automatically. So going over to the flight plan page, we are indeed departing off runway 24. And we are following, I think... no, we're not following the Vanil to Lima departure. We're following the Alpha departure. I changed that because Pilot 2ATC has it a bit wrong. But then it also depends a little bit on how broken the nav data in the sim is. Ideally, we'd like one that works for both. Yeah, here we are, Vanil to Alpha. Vanirs, I should say, not Vanil. Insert. And for our arrival, I think we are following the Natex 1 Whiskey. Let me double check that. Yes, we are, so we can leave that well alone. And that's our flight plan done. That was quick and painless, wasn't it? Go over to the init B page now, and we will import our zero fuel weight and zero fuel weight centre of gravity from the sim. And we'll check our block fuel up there. I have fueled us up, ready for departure. And that's, well, it's 10 tons almost exactly, isn't it? So we'll use that. And then these fields all get populated with zeros, whereas in the real world the aircraft would calculate all of these things for you. But anyway, it doesn't matter. We'll go over to our performance page. And I did calculate some V-speeds and a flex temp. Yep, so flex temp is 50. We're actually quite heavy today, so we'll see how the aircraft performs. 145 is V1. 153 is rotate, and 154 is V2. Transition altitude, I'll have to check on the SID chart. Transition altitude is 6,000 feet here. I loaded it from MSFS, yeah. So what I do, no clue, is I plan my flights in SimBrief, export them in the native flight plan format for the sim, and then import them from the world map screen. Just change the departure runway to the gate I want to use and click fly. There is actually a tutorial on my YouTube channel on the tutorials playlist which covers exactly how to use SimBrief. It's really straightforward, and it creates much more real-world routes than the InSim Flight Planner does. So we're going to have our thrust reduction height at 1500 feet above ground level, and that's correctly set, 1518, and our acceleration altitude will be 1500 feet above that, so 3018. We're going to be doing a flaps 1 takeoff. Right, I will just tune into the ATIS on pilot to ATC, see how we're doing for weather.
Diagraphs information Sierra 1220 Zulu, winds are 225 at 7 knots, visibility 6 miles, 2000 few clouds, temperature 23, dew point 16. Current QNH is 1018. Arriving and departing runway 24. Diagraphs information Sierra.
So that's all pretty much as it was when I did my V-speed, so we don't have to change them. Yeah, loading legs in the sim, I don't know. I have to say I haven't personally had a problem with it so far. I would recommend using the master build rather than the latest stable build. I've never had any issues with their master builds, and they do have the latest updates in them. Although that said, I haven't updated mine for about a week because I know this one works well. But yeah, I mostly do it for realism. Because you don't get airline flight crews programming their whole flight plan in the aircraft these days. Right, I'm just going to fast forward the pre-flight events a little bit.
The security and safety checks are all done. Are we good to start boarding?
Yes, you can start boarding.
Okay.
And as we're starting boarding, I will start the APU because it's going to be stuffy on board this plane when it's 23 degrees out, I would have thought. So APU master switch to on, wait for 3 seconds, and then turn on the starter switch. And we can monitor it down here if we like. I'll notice the N% rising, and shortly afterwards the exhaust gas temperature will rise, which unfortunately is the opposite to what I said in my tutorial video, but I don't think anyone's noticed. Yeah, for those of you who are new to the channel, this is one of my, well, it's the most painful video I've ever made. I spent about 10 hours putting together a 20-minute video teaching you everything you need to know to go from cold and dark as we were, well, you didn't see it, but as you are when you start at the gate, all the way through all of this setup I've just done, through to being ready for pushback. So if you're looking to learn how to fly the A320, I recommend looking that out. This is the point where you will type, yeah, I know, it's amazing, I've watched it, but you know, take your time. Right, shall we get our clearance? Let's do that. Diagras ground, Ryanair 603, ready to copy IFR clearance.
Ryanair 603 is cleared to Lima Oscar Whiskey Whiskey, flat LYT have ANE to a departure, with the vanes transition, then as filed. Expect departure runway 24. Climb to 4,000 feet via the departure. Expect higher clearances 2 minutes after departure. Squawk 4663.
Ryanair 603 is cleared to Lima Oscar Whiskey Whiskey. Fly the vane to a departure, with the vanes transition, then as filed. Climb to 4,000 feet via the departure.
Oh good, I'm pleased to.
Higher clearances 2 minutes after departure. Squawk 4663.
Ryanair 603 read back correct. QNH is 1018, let us know when you're ready for pushback.
QNH is 1018 Ryanair 603.
What I would really love in Pilot to ATC is text-to-speech voices that have the appropriate regional accent for where you're flying. But as far as I've found so far, there are a few, like the Spanish voice is intelligible in English, but most of the other voices, obviously, fair enough, pronounce words as if they were written in their own language, and they're not very easy to understand. Right, so we've got our APU available. We'll turn on the APU bleed, get the passenger cabin nice and air conditioned, and we'll turn off external power. And because we've set up the cockpit, we can run our before start checklist down to the line.
Before start checklist.
Cockpit prep.
Completed.
Completed. Gear pins and covers.
Removed.
Signs.
On and auto.
ADS.
Nav.
Fuel quantity.
Set.
Takeoff data.
Set.
Baro ref.
1019 set.
1019 set. Down to the line.
Oh, excellent, Dazza. I'm pleased. Wow, I'm pleased I've influenced you so heavily. I think you'll be pleased with all three of those. That's a great start to a scenery collection. Right, how are we doing? How are we doing for time? So we want to be taking off in about 10 minutes. I think we'll do a little bit more fast forwarding.
Hi guys, here's the load sheet for you.
Thanks.
No problem, have a safe flight.
So for those of you who don't know, Flight Crew A320 provides you with a first officer to run through your checklist and also change some settings on the aircraft as appropriate. It also provides you with this pre-flight events thing, which is basically starts a 30-minute timer, and various things happen at set points during that 30 minutes. But if you don't want to hang around for the full 30 minutes, then you can just press the plus button to fast forward it, and that's what I'm doing now. I realise sometimes I talk about these things, but they probably only make sense to me.
Also review the safety instruction in your seat pocket. If you're seated at an exit seat, also review the exit seating criteria.
Hey guys, all packs are on board. Are we clear to close?
Yep.
Thanks, let me know if you need anything.
They are, aren't they? Yeah, I've used them for in various aircraft in Prepared and FSX, and they're really good. Add to the realism and make your life a bit easier. Right, so now all we're waiting for is the cabin crew to close the front door, and as if by magic they just have. And we can complete... Well, we'll get our pushback and start clearance, and then we'll complete the before start checklist below the line. Jaguarist ground, Ryanair 603, ready for pushback and engine start.
603 pushback and engine start approved.
Pushback and engine start approved Ryanair 603.
So we'll turn the beacon light on to show that we are ready, and we'll make sure our thrust levers are idle and that the door is definitely closed, and then we will run the checklist below the line.
Below the line.
Windows and doors.
Closed.
Closed. Beacon.
On.
Thrust levers.
Idle.
Parking brake.
On.
Before start checklist complete.
And now we use my other FS2 crew program, the Pushback Express, to get pushed back.
Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead, flight deck.
We are ready for pushback and engine start.
Roger. Release the parking brakes, please.
Parking brakes released.
Push it back.
No, Stuart, I'm pretty sure that it'll never, ever get to that level of fidelity. I think, to be honest, Asobo don't have the skills and knowledge to do it, and I also think
You're
that they're
clear
keen...
behind, and you can start your engines at your discretion.
Hold on, I'll finish that sentence in a
Starting
second.
engine 1.
I also think that they're keen not to step on the toes of developers like Aerosoft, who wish to bring their existing payware A320 models over into this sim. So yeah, I don't think it'll happen. But if you're not using the A320NX mod yet, I highly recommend you get that. It makes a huge difference, and I think if anyone's going to bring this up to a study level standard, it'll be them. I don't know quite how far they'll get, but so far so good. No, I never have, Dazza, and I'll tell you why. I suppose I felt that FS2 crew does everything I want it to, and I also used to hate Windows text-to-speech voices. I much prefer hearing recorded real voices. But to be honest, using Pilot to ATC has changed my opinion on them a little bit. I don't mind them so much.
Pushback complete. Set parking brakes, please.
Parking brake set.
Roger. Okay, the tow bar is disconnected and the equipment is clear. We will see you on the right side with the beam.
Thanks, and you can disconnect and go to hand signals.
Thanks, have a good flight. See you later.
Yeah, I'm not sure, Ian. I can't think back to what happened there. Yeah, it probably is the first officer. Anyway, our first engine has been
Starting
started.
engine 2.
We'll start the second one. No worries at all, Stuart. And you're welcome. I enjoy making them.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen,
With the exception of
welcome
that
on board
blasted
today.
tutorial, I
This
didn't
is your
enjoy that.
purser speaking. Please direct your attention to the cabin crew for important safety information. There is an instruction card in your seat pocket that illustrates the safety equipment on board this aircraft. Regulations require compliance with this information as well as all crew instructions, the lighted information signs and posted placards. Fasten your seatbelt by inserting the metal tip into the buckle. Tighten by pulling on the belt. To release your seatbelt, lift the metal flap on the buckle. It is our policy that you keep your seatbelt fastened.
The other thing about this Rhodes airport that I have noticed in a couple of other add-ons is that it doesn't offer ground services, so you can't have your baggage trucks. You'll have noticed there was no actual pushback tug pushing us back. The aircraft just moved by magic. And there are no air stairs either. So that's a bit of a shame in this day and age.
The cabin is pressurized.
Do they sound very robotic? Yeah. It's a lot of money as well. Like, maybe if I had a whole bunch of fantastic payware add-on aircraft without FS2 crew being available for them, I might consider it. But yeah, I think I wouldn't get enough use out of it or pleasure out of it to justify the price at the moment.
Place the elastic band around your head and tighten by pulling on the end.
Right, both our engines are started. So we'll turn the engine mode selector back to normal. Turn off the APU bleed, turn off the APU, and while we're up here we'll turn on the taxi light.
After start checklist.
Anti-ice.
So you'll notice the first officer just set our flaps for us there.
Set.
ECAM status.
Checked.
Pitch trim.
I haven't checked the pitch trim. We wanted 26%, which it normally is roughly. Yeah, it's fine.
26% set.
Rudder trim.
0.
After start checklist complete.
Okay, so now we can request taxi. Jaguar's ground, Ryanair 603, ready to taxi.
603 taxi to runway 24 via taxiways Alpha. Hold short runway 24.
Taxi to runway 24 via taxiways Alpha. Hold short runway 24 Ryanair 603.
Flight control check.
Full up. Full down. Neutral.
This would usually
Full
be
left.
done while taxiing, but because
right.
we need the rudder for steering,
Neutral.
the
Rudder.
nose wheel, as opposed to the tiller which would be used in real life, I tend to do it before we set off.
Full left. Full right. Neutral.
Oh, I've had plenty of landings like that, does I? Plenty. I recommend my, which flight was it? Oh, Chicago to Orlando. If you want to feel a bit better about your landings, watch my landing on that one.
Clear left side.
Clear right side.
Brake check.
Pressure 0.
So you'll have noticed our takeoff memo appearing on the upper ECAM. We need to set our auto brake to max. There's something that causes this to keep going on and off as you taxi, but we'll set it to max for now. We need to check that the cabin's ready, which we simulate by pressing the forward or any of these call bells. And that will change that to all green. Then we test the takeoff config by pressing this button down here. Right, so now we can run our before takeoff checklist down to the line.
Before takeoff checklist.
Flight controls.
Checked.
Checked. Flight instruments.
Checked.
Checked. Briefing.
Confirmed.
Flat setting.
Config 1 plus F.
Config 1 plus F. V1, VR, V2, flex temp.
V1 145, VR 153, V2 154.
V1 145, VR 153, V2 154, ATC.
Set.
ECAM memo.
Take off no blue.
Down to the line.
And then we carry on below the line once we are ready to actually take off. Yeah, I've done that as well, Dazza. It becomes second nature after a while. Famous last words, I'll forget that on the next flight now, inevitably. Yeah, it looks pretty good, doesn't it? Does feel like you're on a Greek island. So, very simple taxi, and also a very simple standard instrument departure today. We take off, turn right, and fly more or less in a straight line to the end of it.
Ryanair 603, contact tower on 118.2. Have a nice flight.
Tower on 118.2 Ryanair 603.
So with the way I've got pilot to ATC set up, I make the initial calls to tower and ground when I'm ready to do things, and my co-pilot takes over from there. That could be what you were experiencing earlier on. I thought you were referring to the pushback add-on, but now it would make more sense if you're referring to this. Right. Diagorus Tower, Ryanair 603, ready for departure, runway 24. Hello, anyone there? Let's try again. Tower, Ryanair 603, ready for departure, runway 24.
Ryanair 603, winds are 225 at 5 knots, cleared for takeoff, runway 24.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 24.
So strobe lights to on,
603.
landing lights on, nose light to takeoff. Stuart, can I ask what app you're using? Yeah, I subscribe to Navigraph, so I use either the Windows app or the what's it called? The iPad app. At the moment I'm using the iPad app. It's quite expensive, it's like £10 a month, something like that, but for me it's just about worth it to have up-to-date nav data and charts, every chart in the world at my fingertips.
Below the line.
Cabin crew, be seated for takeoff. Takeoff runway.
Confirmed.
Confirmed. Cabin crew.
Advised.
Engine mode selector.
Normal.
Packs.
On.
Before takeoff checklist complete.
Right, here we go then.
Ready?
Ready.
Takeoff.
Up to flex, detent.
Manflex, SRS, runway, auto thrust blue.
Check. Thrust set.
If anyone hasn't subscribed to my channel yet, this is probably a good time to ask you to do so. Plenty more live streams ahead of us. Group flight on Saturday, more reviews, more tutorials.
100 knots.
Great place to
Check.
be.
V1. Rotate. Positive climb.
Gear up.
Gear up.
So just turning to the right to follow the instrument departure. And we'll engage the autopilot so you can have a look outside.
AP1.
Check.
And we've passed through our thrust reduction altitude of, can't remember what it was, 1500 and something. So we reduced to the climb detent here. And then when we reach our acceleration altitude of 3018, I think, you'll notice that the autopilot drops the nose, or the flight director will command a decrease in pitch. There we go. and that will allow us to increase our speed up to the S speed, which is our flaps retraction speed. Thank you, Kevin. It was pretty straight down the middle, if I do say so myself. And here we are, flaps retraction speed.
Flap 0.
Speed checked. Flaps 0.
And you'll notice that the auto thrust commanded a rapid reduction in thrust because we hit that speed, and we can't go higher than the S speed until we retract our flaps. And now we should accelerate to 250 knots, which is the maximum speed below 10,000 feet. And we've reached our cleared altitude of 4,000. Unless I've missed a higher clearance, I don't know. She said expect higher within 7 minutes, I think, so we're not there yet. The nice thing about Pilot to ATC is that you can just scroll back through the text of what's been said so far. I expect higher clearances 2 minutes after takeoff. Come on then. Still, good opportunity for some sightseeing before we climb into the flight levels and can't see anything for a couple of hours. Oh, I've just noticed on my COM1 that the co-pilot has tuned us back to the ground frequency. That could explain why we're not being given clearance. Let me see what the departure frequency should be. Let's try 122.10.
Ryanair 603 climb and maintain flight level 120.
Climb and maintain flight level.
Ryanair 603 contact center on 135.87.
Contact center on 135.87.
Yeah, Pilot to ATC is 100 times better than the Sim ATC. It's not without its bugs in Microsoft Flight Simulator, but it's much, much better. I haven't flown with the Sim ATC since I got it. But yeah, I don't really understand what's happening now. Contact center 135.87, which is what I'm tuned to. Okay, let's try. Athens Centre, Ryanair 603, climbing through 5,700 feet.
Ryanair 603 contact center on 135.87.
That's literally what I'm tuned to. So, Pilot to ATC can't use the radios in the A320 for some reason, it can't read them.
Tower Ryanair 603 climbing to flight level 120.
Ryanair 603, good morning. Radar contact.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on now. We'll just see what happens with it. I used to use Pro ATCX in Prepared, and that had recorded real-world voices, but not many of them. And it was, I have to say, it worked better than this, but it was a lot less feature-rich than this. It was very predictable what they would tell you and when. Right, passing through 10,000, we can turn the landing lights off. We'll leave the seatbelts on for a little bit, because there are thunderstorms about. And we'll run our after takeoff climb checklist, I think.
After takeoff climb checklist.
Landing gear.
Up.
Flaps.
Retracted.
Packs.
On.
Down to the line.
These are the little things I always forget to do before takeoff. Turn the TCAS to TARA. And turn on the weather radar and predictive wind shear warning. Athens Centre, Ryanair 603, request climb to flight level 360.
Aircraft calling tower, say again with your call sign.
I'm not calling tower. I'm so clearly not calling tower. Tower, Ryanair 603, request climb to flight level 360.
Ryanair 603 climb and maintain flight level 360.
Climb and maintain flight level 360 Ryanair 603.
Awesome. Oh, hello, Pablo. You got Orbex, Vienna, and the London scene. Good. Oh, nice. Nice. That'll be a good flight. Are you right in saying you can download different voice packs? So, sort of. Pilot to ATC uses Windows text-to-speech voices, and you can download some of those. Just press B to set standard. You can download more of those, and it'll work with them. There's a limited number available for free, and if you want more than that, you end up purchasing them from someone like Ivona, and their voices are something like £25 each, so it can end up quite expensive if you want a real variety of voices.
Below the line.
Barrow ref.
Oh, no, I thought I was...
Set standard.
Standard, cross-checked. Passing flight level 137.
I thought I was further behind with the checklist than I was.
Now.
Check. Standard set.
Standard set. After takeoff checklist complete.
Excellent. So far everything's gone pretty smoothly, with the exception of Pilot to ATC, whose virtues I've just been extolling. I tell you what, the developer is really helpful. You may remember, those of you who are regulars, that we had an issue with it on descent to Haneda. It was really bad weather and they kept repeating a descent instruction which didn't make any sense in the first place, but which I was following. And he looked into it, tried to recreate it in his own sim, couldn't, and you know, we put it down to just one of those things, but I'm sure if I asked him about what was going on here, he'd be able to work it out. So this really is very similar to our outbound leg, but in reverse. So we're mostly going to be over sea. We'll be passing over a couple of islands, but we'll be making a turn to the northwest shortly, which will take us up to the Greek mainland, just east of Thessaloniki. And then we'll head over North Macedonia, the eastern edge of that. And then north over Serbia, into Hungary, then make a turn to the west to head over into Austria before landing at Vienna, which is of course very close to the boundary between Austria and Slovakia, but we're not actually entering Slovakian airspace this time. Yeah, it should be. It was certainly very picturesque on the way out, what we saw of it. Had some complaints about missing out on some of it because of the because it was dark. We think we took off at about 5:45 local time, so yeah, half of the flight was in darkness. We didn't see much, but weather permitting, so we'll see more today. Just going to try and work out if Pilot to ATC is still working or if it's given up on us. Centre, Ryanair 603, radio check.
Ryanair 603, you are loud and clear.
Okay, good. It cleared us up to our cruising altitude, so we'll see what happens. So I've been, when I've not been doing review videos, which is what I've mostly been doing, I've been trying to learn how to fly the CJ4 properly, which might interest you, Pablo. Because I know I said I was going to do the return leg of our trip from Saint-Tropez to London City, and I'd still like to do that. But the update before last made that aircraft behave so erratically on autopilot with the porpoising that I decided against it. But I'm getting quite into it. I did a flight yesterday from Graz to Florence, which went very smoothly. And then I also earlier did a flight into London City, which I rather messed up the approach on. Got it down, don't get me wrong, I landed the thing, but it's a very steep approach, as you may be aware, and probably not a good one for the inexperienced pilots in that particular aircraft. But I really recommend the mod for it. What's it called? Working Title. Yeah, Working Title have done a really good mod for the CJ4, which makes it behave a lot better. So possibly the next live stream after the weekend's group flight, obviously, will be that, or I might do another A320 flight, to be confirmed. Yeah, I tell you what I'll do. I'll try and find a link to their page and I'll post it in the chat. I found a GitHub link, but it's not entirely clear. Oh, there we are. Yeah, I've got it. So this is where you, hang on, CJ4 mod. That's where you get it from. And there's a really detailed 2-hour video on YouTube done by a real world pilot who's one of the team working on the mod, and he takes you through how to fly it. And I have to say, even for me who likes the detail and likes to learn how to do things properly, I did find that a little bit heavy going, didn't quite finish it. I learned a lot from the bits I did see, but if you want to start quickly, there's also an SOP document available for the mod, which sort of gives you the basics of what to do. Weather radar should be on, Kingston, before takeoff. I just forgot to put it on. That's, I believe, pretty sure, standard operating procedure in the A320s that you turn it on before takeoff and off before landing, regardless of the weather. Unless, of course, you need to use the terrain radar instead, in which case one of the pilots will have the terrain display up and the other will have the weather radar up. No worries. I think my clouds are all set to ultra, Pablo. I think. I'll have a quick look. Should be in here, right? Clouds. Ultra, yeah, they're set to ultra. Yes, this Lauda livery is from the Mega... Oh, is it? No, it's not. I had to find it separately. And I can't remember where I got it from. No, I think this is it from FS2020.org. Post a link. Oh, hello, Steve. Yeah, it's nice to have you here. Nice to have you here. Yeah, we're just climbing up to our cruising altitude of flight level 360, having a few issues with pilot to ATC, but so far, mostly so good. No problem, Kingston. I couldn't swear that that's the one I got, but it looks like it to me. Hello, Samsonite. Nice to see you back. Let's have a nice bit of cruising music. I only have 2 classical music playlists on what's it called? Epidemic Sound. Get this royalty-free music, but they're both quite nice, and I will cycle them around, and one day I might try and do another one. How's life been treating you, Samsonite? Yeah, it's definitely getting better all the time, Steve. In fact, and I don't want to jinx it, but I haven't even experienced that rolling left on landing bug recently. And that was the biggest irritation for me.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I wouldn't bank on it, Stuart. I wouldn't bank on it. I went over to, on the official forums, I went to the bugs reports, I can't remember what it's called, bugs and issues or something, and I had a look for all of the threads relating to the rolling to the left on landing bug, and I messaged the moderators and I said, look, is there any chance you could put all of these together so that all of the votes are combined and there aren't people just voting on hundreds of different topics about the same thing, because I thought that way it's more likely to be noticed by Asobo and fixed, because it'll make it to their top bugs and issues list. And they kindly did that, they did merge them all together, but unfortunately not the upvotes. So we started off with 44 upvotes, and yeah, it's going up steadily, but it's still not one of the top issues, I don't think. So if you do want to see the A320 improved, I'll try and find a link to it, that's what I'll do, and then you can all go and vote for it. Yeah, here we are. is, yeah, I mean, it is a great feeling when you complete a flight with nothing going wrong. It's really satisfying. I've never played around with manual cache. I have pretty reliable internet, so I've never really seen the point in it, but there may be one that I'm not aware of. I feel like we should really have had a frequency change by now. Maybe not. It doesn't look like there are any other centre frequencies around. So. What were you hoping to achieve with the manual cache, Pablo? Is it to do with smoothing out performance or something else? Sounds like a good combination, Samsonite. Oh, sorry, you meant last week. I thought you meant you had a busy but lazy week. Yeah. Yeah, bad luck. Yeah, I wouldn't upgrade for the Dreamliner at the moment, Steve. It's got better, but I still don't like it. It's a long way from being something you can fly realistically. This is why I only fly the A320. I'd love to do more long haul stuff, but we just don't have a plane that I trust yet. I don't know. They might add the new Istanbul airport when they do their world update for Europe. I don't think it'll be added other than that, though. But yeah, there's a developer who's done the old Istanbul airport, I think, so they might do it. Very wise, Steve, I reckon. It performs better. When the sim first came out, I was just getting incredibly low frame rates. Like, it was stutter central, but they have improved on that, so that's a step in the right direction at least. Right. What pain does an exercise bike take away, Pablo? Sounds like it would cause pain if I got on one at the moment. Having not been to the gym for, well, since the before COVID times. No, they didn't make the second runway for Malaga, it's true. Yeah, the sim does look fantastic compared with the old FSX. I was talking to someone on the VATSIM forums about how you get around the missing nav data and the aircraft not performing as it should when you're flying on VATSIM. And they were saying that they went back to prepared and they flew the FS Labs Airbus and the PMDG 737. And I've tried it once, I have been back, but I just don't, it just feels so old now. It doesn't look, I can't convince myself I'm flying a real plane, even though the actual experience, the actual behaviour of the planes is so much truer to life. Oh, the best site for MSFS 20 add-ons download is probably, can't remember. Hang on, let me check my favourites. there's MSFS add-ons.org, which is they're all scattered all over the place. That's the trouble. It'd be nice if we had one resource like Avsim, where everything was in one place. Hold on, I've got so many bookmarks I can't think where I would have saved it. Yeah, so there's Nexus mods, MSFS add-ons, and there's another one, something.2, but I can't remember what it is. But it's worth keeping an eye on FS Elite if it's commercial add-ons you're after, because they give previews and make announcements about what's being released. Yep, I've tried the 747 once, never been back to it for the same reason, Steve. Yeah, I think we need to give FS 2020 a long time to get better. It will be a slow process, but once we have PMDG and the like releasing their aircraft, it'll have everything. Oh, I see. I relieve the pain. Oh dear. Yes. Thank you. That's very nice of you to say, Papa. Yeah, go ahead, Dazza. Go ahead. Thanks, Ian. Flightsim.to. That's it. I'm going to post that for. I'm going to copy that over to the YouTube for Jabanica. Hang on, as long as it's not pirated stuff we're talking, Dazza, is it? It's genuine freeware, I hope. I'm sure it is. Just had a sudden thought. I don't want any piracy chat on here, but yeah, freeware add-ons. Share away. Oh, we never turned our seatbelts off. Passengers will be wetting themselves. Yeah, there isn't a huge amount that I've downloaded in the way of freeware. I got that Durdle Door add-on for that particular leg of my Bimbles Around Britain series. But yeah, I think that's about it in terms of scenery freeware. I can't see it, Dazza. I don't know if I've got some YouTube setting on that I'm unaware of that won't let other people post links. It's possible. Yes, I did kill a Martian. I found that only the other day on my last live stream when we were flying in here. Had to do a visual approach instead. I wasn't sure. Sorry, the cats are just pushing things off tables. It's not easy to concentrate with them sometimes. Yeah, what was I saying? It's offset ILS. I didn't know if it was because of the Navigraph beta data or if it was a sim thing. I was using Navigraph at the time. But are you using Navigraph or are you using the default NavBlue data, Kilomartian? Oh, great. Good. Oh, right, okay. I keep chopping and changing between installing and uninstalling the beta data because I think it fixes some things and breaks others. I'm never sure which works better. Oh yeah, what is the fix? Oh, I see. I see. So basically, it could be that the airport itself is misaligned rather than the ILS. Is that what you mean? Is that what this means? Okay. Yeah, I hope they fix it too. Have you got Gaia's Kos scenery? That's really nice as well if you like Greek islands. Do you live on Rhodes or you just visit quite often? I've never been. Hello, LA West. Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. There's going to be a bit of a hiatus in the reviews at the moment because what happened was I had a huge backlog which some very kind developers had sent me free copies of for review, and I've got to the end of it, and I won't lie to you, I'm quite pleased. But I will do more reviews as and when new things get released. So for those of you who aren't aware, I'm running my first ever group flight on Saturday to celebrate passing 500 subscribers. It's going to be the next bit of my VFR series, Bimbles Around Britain, and we're going to be flying from Aberporth, where I ended up last time, up north to Snowdonia. We're going to be flying through some of the Mach Loop, which is the valley system that the RAF use for training fast jet pilots, and we're going to be climbing around Snowdon, flying over the summit and ending up in Carnarvon. So it should be a really good flight, and you're all very welcome. All you need to do is join my Discord server, and all the information you need is in there on the group flight discussion channel. I've never used World of AI subs now. I used to use the other one. What was it called? No, it escapes me. There were sort of two competing real-world traffic airlines, and I used the other one. I'm quite happy with the live aircraft. I would just like them to be... I'd just quite like them to have real-world liveries and be the right type of aircraft rather than generic ones. Oh, bad luck, Dazza. Yeah, we're in Tier 2 in London. Hasn't really affected my life much anyway, because I've basically lived in Tier 2 since this started. Yes, I will do some VFR flying around Rhodes at some point, Kalabashi. Once I've finished my tour of Britain, I'm going to try and find some of the most beautiful places in the world to fly to, and certainly Greek islands will be among them, I'm sure. It was Daza, Pablo. Sorry, Daza, I didn't mean to grass you. Yes, this is generally a COVID-free zone. Mind you, I brought it up last time, I think, in the context of all the exciting places I was going to go after COVID, so I can't really criticise. Slow the old drone camera down, it's a bit jerky, isn't it? Oh no, wrong one. That's more like it. Yeah, go ahead, Killer Martian, yeah. Always interested to hear what people are using in their sims. Ultimate Traffic Live, that's the one. Thanks for jogging my memory. Yeah, that's what I used to use. And then I tried to supplement it with some of the AIG freeware flight plans, which use the FLAI aircraft. And when it worked, it was really good, but occasionally I'd have crashes to desktop and things like that. And all of a sudden I was spending more time downloading flight schedules and things for the AI than I was flying, so I stopped. Oh yes, I've heard of that. Is it any good? I'm going to look that up, FlightShare. I haven't heard of it. Just reading about FlightShare, it does look useful. Yeah, very interesting. I've got a link here, save you the trouble. I'm glad you're enjoying the background music. This is someone called Cora Zia, C-O-R-A-Z-E-A. unusually high pitch attitude for level flight, don't we? We shouldn't have any wing icing because we've not flown through any clouds, but let's just turn on the anti-ice and see if it makes a difference. Kevin and I learnt this the hard way on a VATSIM flight the other day, that just because you don't think you should have wing icing, it doesn't mean you don't. Mind you, you'd expect the whole airframe to be iced up in this sim, wouldn't you? Oh, okay, so you really can just fly from an outside view. That's interesting. Yeah, that's how I choose my flights, Pablo. I go on, as you know, I go on Flight Radar 24 generally and see what routes are available from an airport I want to depart from. Oh, thank you, S. Wally one. That's very nice of you to say so. I'm glad you're finding them useful. I know I'm using my joystick, Killer Martian, to control the drone. I think a joypad is the best way to do it, but I've just assigned my joystick axis and hat switch to different, to basically move the drone left, right, forward and backwards, and the hat switches for up and down. Oh, I was getting muddled up, Samsonite. Yes, you're right. World of AI is free. I was thinking of the Just Flight one. Can't remember what that was called. It was in early access for years, and I think it's just come out of it. Traffic Global, that's what I was thinking of. Mossy, don't worry, no need to apologise. Better late than never, sir. Nice to see you. Do you have a stick that you could use, Killer Martian? Yeah, I remember quite a lot of go-arounds in Prepared as well. But yeah, personally, in terms of AI traffic, I would prefer to see just someone bring out some AI models for the live traffic, which you know, rather than a whole new package that we need to buy. Because the live traffic's good. It's not perfect. It's not every aircraft, but it's enough for me, I think. Oh, okay. If you have a HOTAS, then yeah, you should be able to just assign the drone to the axis of your stick. Hello, Flightzilla. Oh yes, thank you. It's going up nicely. I think it's the review videos that are doing it rather than my streams. I've been churning them out, as you know, and yeah, I think I'm averaging about 25 new subscribers a day for the last 3 or 4 days. So if that keeps up, I'll be very happy. But I haven't got anything else I want to review, so it may take a dive again, I think. Anyway, very good of you to use your break tuning into me. I appreciate it. Oh, what went wrong? Why did you leave it, Killer Martian? Oh, I didn't know that was an option, Samsonite. That's good to know. I've got to say, I go on and off flight sims. I think before Microsoft Flight Simulator came out, I probably hadn't flown for about 6 months. And then when I was on the beta for that, I started messing around with it, but it drove me a bit bonkers, so I left it alone for another couple of months. And, you know, it's fair enough to have a break now and then. But not when you're trying to be a YouTube millionaire by Christmas, unfortunately. Fortunately, I'm still enjoying the live streaming. It's good fun. Anyway, talking of being a YouTube millionaire by Christmas, there is, if anyone would like to make use of it, you know, there's no pressure at all, but there is a little donations link in the description. So that's an option you have, not one you should necessarily use, but it's there for those who want it. Oh, but why did you bin the lot? What went so wrong? I won't, don't worry, Pablo. I'm not sure I'll ever go over 50,000. But if I do, I'll still be me, don't worry. You know, unless of course someone like Orbex turns up and says, well, we're gonna pay you £100 per flight as long as you say nice things about our products on the way, then yeah, I might take them up on that. I won't lie to you. My morals can be bent for the right price. But no, I can't see me changing the channel particularly from what it is at the moment. Oh, I see. Yeah, fair enough. I did try X-Plane for a while when I had a Mac rather than a PC, and I just didn't get on with it. I think it's a great sim. I just think you get used to a sim looking a certain way, and when you've been flying Microsoft sims for years, X-Plane just doesn't look quite right. I tell you what, Pablo, if you spot me getting corrupted, just send me a message and I'll be straight down the church. Yeah, the slightest inkling, let me know. Oh, good. Yeah, Florence is spectacular. And it is interesting, as I think I probably went on about this in the review slightly too much, but that there are some developers who are really into transparent glass, and others who just do really, really good reflective textures. And the more I see of what Gaia are doing with texturing, the more I think I prefer it to the transparent windows, actually. But, you know, that might change when they no longer stick out in poor visibility. We'll see. Anicio, thank you very much for subscribing. Welcome to the channel. I'm never sure if these people who are subscribing are actually watching the stream, or if they just happen to have watched one of my other videos. But anyway, if you're not here and you watch this later, thanks. Yeah, this sim is unrivaled, isn't it, in terms of immersion. Yeah, I don't think the nose up attitude has anything to do with icing, so I'll turn these off. Save a bit of fuel. Notice that it does affect our N1, so the engines need to turn a little bit quicker to power the anti-ice. Yes, that's exactly it. Oh! I knew nothing about the new weather add-on from Orbex. Oh, is that the one with the little presets? I think I had heard of that, but I didn't know it was done by Orbex. I don't know what you're doing, Mohammed, but it's time to go. Sorry, bye. Okay, I'll have to check it out. £5.20 is very reasonable. As you can see, we've hit the mainland. We've got Thessaloniki just over to the west of us, over our left wing. It's probably a bit too far to see from here. Let's have a little look. I believe it's just down here on this sort of... I don't know what you'd call it. The armpit of the inlet, let's say. A lot of mountains to cross, which I remember being very pretty last time round. Quite lush and green through North Macedonia and Serbia. Hello Vitality, welcome to the stream. So we're just about to cross the border into North Macedonia. Passing just to the east of Strumica. And we still haven't been given a frequency change by Pilot to ATC. And I used to know what to do about it. And it still says we should be on Athens Centre. Well, it says that Athens Centre is our nearest anyway. It's the only one coming up, so... give it a little bit longer. Do another radio check. Athens Centre, Ryanair 603, radio check. Athens Centre, Ryanair 603, radio check.
Ryanair 603, you are loud and clear.
Good, good. We'll accept that they can hear us at least. The border between Greece and North Macedonia actually passes through this lake down here. So we're just on the Greek side, and the other side is North Macedonia. It's called the Lake of Doiran. Well, D-O-J-R-A-N. I assume that's pronounced Doiran, but I may be wrong. Right, I'm just going to step away for a short while, get a couple of bits done, but I'll be monitoring the chat sporadically, so do still talk to me if you'd like to. And I'll see you very shortly. Hello, I'm back. Have I missed anything? No, we're still on Athens Centre, I see. We haven't been given a new frequency. Right, assigned frequency is 120.42. Let's try changing over to that. Belgrade Centre, Ryanair 603, flight level 360.
603 at flight level 360.
Oh, okay. We'll both talk to them at the same
Ryanair
time.
603, good morning. Radar contact.
This co-pilot is not on form today, I must say. She's usually pretty good, but definitely having an off day. Ah, the presets are by SoFly. Right, yeah, I thought I'd have remembered if they were all based. Hello Ravenrax, welcome to the stream. How are you? That's interesting. I see Preelsoft have released Casablanca for a flight sim. Might be one that's worth getting. Looks alright. I never had it for prepared. I don't know why. I can't remember if there was something that put me off or if I just didn't think I'd use it much. So I'm pretty sure you can do some interesting flights to there from Europe. Yeah, I'm very well, thanks Ravenrax. Yeah, very well. On a week off work, so I can't complain. And thank you, I'm glad you like them. I'm glad you're finding them useful. Is this the first live stream you've been on, or I don't recognise your name anyway? Yeah, that's right, Pablo. Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah, I'm just having a look at the routes on Flight Radar 24 to try and establish how much use I would get out of it, and I think the answer is not all that much. There are a lot of Royal Air Maroc flights into Europe, but they're all in 737s. Very few A320 flights, if any. Yeah, you can fly to Toulouse on an A320 with Air Arabia Maroc. Montpellier. Probably one to come back to, for me at least, when PMDG released their 737. We've got about 1 hour left to run till we arrive. We don't have a top of descent marked for some reason. I think what I'm going to try doing with this ATC is save the flight plan, close the program, restart it, and see if we can fix it that way. I'm not sure, Pablo. I normally just use my joystick throttle and wait for the click. But I know on the FS Labs you could, as an alternative, use the F2 and F3 keys. No, I don't think so. I think you just have to feel for the click, which is not always obvious. Because the levers seem to move freely, they don't lock into the detents as they should, but there is definitely a click, and you'll see up here we're in Mac rather than, if we were too low, we'd have throttle lever shown, which means we're manually controlling the throttle. So I've shut pilot to ATC, but now it doesn't want to restart. It says there's another instance running already. So I'm going to have to use the task manager to kill it, so apologies if everything freezes momentarily. Shouldn't do, I don't think, but I can't see it in there. That's very odd. Oh, good idea. Yeah, it is. It's just a question of practice. You'll get there with it. And if you hear the click and you go too far, then just watch the annunciator up here and move it back down. No biggie. Let's try quitting FSU IPC and restarting it, and then restarting pilot to ATC, see if that works. No. no! Well, it just crashes to desktop, you mean, or it pauses, Raven Rice? Yeah, Pilot 280C just doesn't want to start again. It's not in my task manager list, yet when I try and start it, it tells me there's another instance running. Shame. Well, it's alright, we'll just fly without ATC for a change. Hello, Mbake Mom, nice to see you. And thank you, I'm glad you enjoyed them. I was saying earlier that I've sort of run out. I've come to the end of the backlog of airports that I had to review, but I'll certainly start up again as and when something new interesting comes along. Yeah, that is annoying. Sorry to hear it, Raven Rice. That would drive me bonkers. Yeah, I don't think that'll happen, Pablo. It happened every time there was an update to the alpha and beta builds, but it doesn't seem to. My key assignments haven't been affected by any of the updates since the game was released. Okay, I've just been into Process Lasso and I found Pilot 280C in there and killed it. Let's see if it'll start now. Yes! Isn't that weird that it wasn't in the task manager? Oh, nice, nice. Oh, sorry, what did you say, Mbitma? I missed that one above. Just started with self-loading cargo. Right. Yeah, I've never tried any of those passenger add-ons. But let me know how you get on with it. Yeah. I say you're talking about the alpha versions, you mean? They certainly did. There was a lot of anger in the forums. Anyway, I'm not allowed to talk about the alpha version or the beta version. I'll get arrested or something. Really? That's amazing. Right, I've loaded up Pilot 280C. I'm file the flight plan again and see if we get on any better. And I seem to remember if you start a flight midway through, hang on, first of all, are we heading to Parak? Yes, we are. That what you have to do is contact a nearby approach or departure frequency, and then they'll tell you the right centre. But it's frozen. Okay, well let's try a radio. Ryanair 603 request frequency change. Ryanair 603 request frequency change.
Ryanair 603, this is Rudina FSS on 122.5. Please repeat your request.
I can't remember if I'm doing this right. Gonna have to Google it. We're only 15 minutes from our top of descent. It's all suddenly got terribly stressful. But we'll get there. Yeah, so the developer says if you have to start a flight again in the middle of it, load and file the exact same flight plan you had before the crash, which I've done. Search for a nearby approach or departure frequency in the frequency window, but I don't have one, unfortunately. I've only got radios. Perhaps I'll... Oh, I can increase the range. Okay, let's try LYBE approach. And then request a frequency change to centre. Right. Ryanair 603, request frequency change to centre.
Ryanair 603, contact Belgrade Control on 120.42. Have a good morning.
Center on 120.42 Ryanair 603. Center Ryanair 603 at flight level 360.
Ryanair 603, good morning. Squawk 4031 QNH is 1021.
Squawk 4031 QNH is 1021 Ryanair 603.
Good, we seem to be back in business with the ATC, so that's good. Anyway, we should probably set up for our arrival.
You have control.
I have control.
So we'll go down to the FMC, we'll check the weather in Vienna. (160) at 5 knots. So yeah, we can expect a runway 16 arrival, which is what I'd planned for, so that's handy. Arrival, star is already set. We'll choose ILS 16 via Ballard. Let me just double check that makes sense. Ah no, we want to go via Pescat. Or Pesat. Right, ILS 16 Pesat, Nate 1W. We don't need another transition for that, I don't think, so that's good. Let's just step it through in plan mode to make sure that makes sense. looks absolutely perfect as per the chart, so that's fantastic. Always a relief when you can actually fly the approach you're expecting. And we'll move over to our perf approach page. Put in the QNH, which is 1020. Wind was 160 at 5. Transition altitude is down to ATC. And the temperature's 14. And if we look at our approach chart, which I haven't loaded yet, I'll just get that up. ILS or local runway 16, we can see that the Cat 1 decision altitude is 797. Good, so we'll set our auto brake, which only needs to be low. We've got a nice long runway. And that's our descent preparation done.
I have control.
You have control.
So we're just approaching the border between Serbia and Hungary now. So we're about 40 minutes away from landing now. And according to Pilot to ATC, we've passed our top of descent. And yet we weren't asked to descend. Let me just check my flight plan. So we should be descending after Parak, which is where we're headed now. No, after Ballocks. So where are we now? Heading to Parak. Okay. So I don't know why it thought our top of descent was quite so soon. Does it know where we're headed? Yes, it does. Very odd. Oh, nice, Pablo. I hope you're pleased with that. Hello, Nanjil. Nice to see you. Welcome to the stream. Just having a bit of bother with the Pilot to ATC add-on at the moment. They haven't been talking to us for half the flight. And normally they give you an estimate for the top of descent, but that's not coming up either. So interesting time to join, but we'll get there. Don't worry. So yes, we should be down on the ground in about 40 minutes' time. Is the throttle coming with the stick tomorrow? Yeah, you said you're getting both tomorrow, hopefully. Yeah. Well, I use the same stick, essentially, as far as I can tell from the pictures, the TCA. Is it 19,000M, is it? 17,000M? Can't remember. But anyway, it served me well for many years, and I've ordered the same again. Now it's starting to wear out. Should be getting it at the beginning of November, I think. I'd have been tempted to go for the throttle as well if I had a little bit more room. Yeah, it's very good. It's very good. The only reason I'm replacing it is because the Z-axis that I use for rudder control started just malfunctioning, and I've read that is a problem with them, which happens after a certain amount of time. And I took it to pieces and managed to fix it by following a YouTube video, but I don't really trust it not to break again. Hence the replacement being on its way. This river down below us, the Tisha, marks the border between Hungary and Serbia. So we're just crossing into Hungary now, near the town of Szeged, which is just here. Well, she's wrong. She's just totally wrong, Killer Martian. This is a very, very sensible way to use your life, watching me fly. I know, I mean, there's a reason I use a pseudonym on this channel, Mom. Oh, hello, Zaynep, it's nice to see you. Welcome to the stream. Sorry I missed your arrival. I have started telling a select few friends about what I do with this YouTube channel and Twitch and on Twitch, and the reaction has been a little bit bewildered, but mostly quite supportive. Oh, happy birthday for tomorrow, Killer Marsh. So yes, for Zayneps and anyone else who's just arrived, we've just crossed the border from Serbia into Hungary, and we'll be landing at Vienna, Schwehat, in about half an hour, something like that. So you've picked a good time to arrive. Gosh, yeah, you've been at this a while. My first sim was FS95, and I was hooked. Never looked back. As I say, I've had the odd year or two off here and there, but I always end up back in the virtual skies. So this little arrow here is the FMGC's calculated top of descent point, which didn't used to exist at all in the sim, and now it only appears sporadically, but I assume that's something that the fly-by-wire guys have done. It's not super accurate, it's a little bit early still, but nice to see it there. Oh wow, yeah. Yes, I know. It's an interesting divide between people who won't hear a word said against this sim and those who just complain about every little thing about it. There are very few people who take a sort of a nuanced view that, yeah, there are things about it that are frustrating, but what they've achieved is pretty spectacular and it will get better. I have to say, I had a really bad... I had a bad day when they brought out the patch that broke the A320. I can't remember which one it was. First or second one. I did think that was kind of unforgivable. And yeah, just shouldn't have been released. But they've taken that on board, I think, and they're doing smaller patches that so far, well, we've only had one of the new breed of smaller patches, but it didn't seem to break very much, so they're learning and they're getting better. I know. Well, what I was saying earlier about having been back to Prepared, which isn't an old sim, and it's still very, very good. It's got a lot about it that's far better than what we've got here at the moment. Yet I just didn't enjoy it anymore. And yeah, I look at videos and screenshots of FS95, the first sim I used, and you just can't imagine ever being satisfied with that, can you? Oh really? That is impressive detail, isn't it? Very impressive. So we're a little behind schedule, I think. Not by too much. Also, we did have a time zone issue, didn't we, in Greece? So I don't know. I never pressed the chronometer. I never do. I should start using that to see how long we're actually flying for. Yes, that's true, apparently, yeah. It will. Yes, you can, Pablo. That is something that has been implemented in the A320 mod. I don't think it actually looks at the runway surface and gives every single runway light that you run over a bump sound, but I think it's just a recording. It seems the same on any takeoff, but it's still a vast improvement on what we had at the beginning. Yeah, I do a fair bit of that as well. Oops. Just realised I never checked the frequency. 108.5 for the ILS. So our planned top of descent is 22 miles after Ballux. So we'll keep an eye on that, and if we get beyond it, then we'll ask for a descent, and if they don't grant us one, we'll start down anyway. So that would make it 11 miles from Torno. Can it really look as good as this? Because I have seen it look good with the Ortho for XP and various add-ons, but I think the thing that this has that is unique is the weather and lighting, and the way the light interacts with the landscape. I've not seen anything approaching that anywhere else. Yeah, absolutely. You could be very, very happy with this for years before ever having to buy another add-on. So, looking at the first waypoint in our star, which is Natex here, we need to be below 6,000 feet and flight level 140. So I think we should start down now, to be on the safe side. I will kill a Martian, I'll have a look. Oh, surely we shouldn't still be talking to Belgrade Centre, should we? Belgrade Centre, Ryanair 603.
Ryanair 603 at flight level 360.
Ryanair 603, good morning. Squawk 4031.
Squawk 4031, Ryanair 603.
I just flicked the frequencies, that's why my co-pilot decided to check in there.
Ryanair 603, radar contact.
Centre, Ryanair 603, request descent to flight level 140. I'm just going to do it. Yeah, I think you're right, Mbek Mom. I think I might have gone back to prepared by now. Centre, Ryanair 603, request descent to flight level 140. No.
603, radar contact. Negative. Your requested altitude is below the minimum for your route.
No, it isn't.
Descend and maintain 3,900 feet. QNH is 1020.
Descent and maintain 3,900 feet. QNH is 1020. Ryanair 603.
Okay, I think we'll just give up on pilot to
603,
ATC
descend
again.
and maintain flight level 140.
Oh, maybe not.
Descent and maintain flight level 140. Ryanair 603.
Ryanair 603, maintain 3,900 feet.
No. No, let's close that down. It's alright, we can descend and land without ATC today. Yeah, for me the default A320 just behaved so erratically. You know, it shot up like a rocket. The FMGC had very, very few working features. So, yeah, I think they've made the biggest improvement to the sim of anyone. It'll be interesting to see, because we did start descending roughly at the planned top of descent point, just how accurate that is. So we should certainly be able to make NATEX by flight level 140. Although actually it's got us at flight level 180 on the plan, which is too high. It's above the maximum. Anyway, we'll see what happens. No, that is true, Dave. And I think a lot of what's going on in terms of the complaints about the aircraft is that people are forgetting that they're default aircraft, and they're comparing this A320 with Aerosofts or the Tolis in X-Plane or what have you. And if you look at the default FSX aircraft, there was nothing. They were less buggy probably, but there was nothing approaching this complexity. You just had a sort of standard Rhodes on here. You didn't have a working FMS with the 737 or anything. So yeah, it's comparing apples with oranges. Just having a look at these constraints and seeing if any of those make sense. This one sort of does. This is gobbledygook. And the following ones are sort of alright. WW684, yeah. Should be at or above 5,000, so it's not quite right. Can we change it? No, you don't seem to be able to change the constraints on any of the arrival waypoints, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't know if you're here, but I was talking about that a bit earlier on, MBEC. I've been trying to learn how to fly the CJ4 with that, what do they call them? So working title mod. And it's really impressive what they've done there. Yeah, same here, Dave. I've had one, but yeah, I hear of people crashing to desktop every time they try and land, or not being able to start the sim. Some people couldn't even install it. So yeah, I think people like you and me are lucky, and it must be frustrating for those who are worse off. It doesn't even make sense, though, does it? That people's experiences are so different. Okay, Killer Martian, I'll do that, and I'll try and work out why links aren't showing up. I don't have any problem with people sharing links. It must be a default YouTube setting. What does it mean when the waypoint is green? I think it's supposed to mean that's the waypoint you're heading to, so that's the active one, so you're coming from Torno to NATEX. And that seems to be working now, but it doesn't always. Yeah, you might be right, Killer Martian. I don't know. I explain well. Hello, Eamon. Nice to see you. Welcome back. You joined us at a good time. We're just on the arrival routing, about to start our approach into Vienna. Yes, the autopilot and the flight director are the worst things for me in most of the aircraft on here. Yeah, I'm quite keen to hang on to my crap screen, MBEC Mom.
Cabin crew, prepare for
that
arrival.
reason. Let's use 6,000 as our transition altitude, seeing as we don't have any ATC to tell us otherwise. So for Eamon and anyone else who has come recently, Pilot 2ATC's let us down today. They just stopped talking to us and then they gave us a descent instruction that made no sense. So we've quit Pilot 2ATC and we're flying the rest of the flight on our own. And we're hoping to be able to meet the 14,000 feet or below constraint at NATEX, but we're not quite going to manage it, I don't think. But what we can do is continue our descent down to 6,000, because the following waypoints we need to be at 6,000 or above. You can, if you enable dev mode. So in the main settings screen, at the bottom, there's a developer mode option. Turn it on. You then get a little black bar at the top of the screen here. And if you click on window and then teleport window, you can go anywhere, either by putting in an ICAO code or, I think, by putting in coordinates. It's a bit of a bodge though, it's not, you know, it's not designed to be used, I don't think. But it's a nice option to have. Oh, I think we are going to make that altitude constraint just about. That's good. Oh yes, I'd forgotten about VFR map, that's true. You can do that as well. Don't worry, Eamon. I'm going to be very cautious. Yeah, nothing wrong with that, Killer Martian. I do have VFR map installed, but I keep forgetting about it. I mostly, because I use Navigraph to see where I'm at on IFR flights, and I use Little Nav Map to see where I am on VFR flights generally. Yeah, it just doesn't occur to me to use it for that sort of thing. I've been doing a bit more flying with VATSIM lately, which I'm quite enjoying, but also finding quite stressful. But I might live stream a VATSIM flight when I get a bit more comfortable with it.
For your continued safety, flight attendants will now walk through the cabin to secure it for landing. We'll collect any off-service items.
Yeah, so we're coming up to Vienna, Eamon. We're just... Yeah, we've been over Hungary. I think we're still just about over Hungary, actually. Let me check my map. Yeah, we're just over Hungary. And we're very shortly going to be crossing the border into Austria. So the lake you see ahead of us, Lake Neusiedl, just here, is in Austria. Yeah, you might be right a bit more. I've never tried it, but I have that same impression. Don't get me wrong, no one's been at all unpleasant to me on VATSIM or question what I've done. It's just quite difficult when the aircraft doesn't always behave as you expect it to. That's what I find a bit frustrating. But I did a good flight yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before? Can't even remember. From Gothenburg down to Frankfurt. Very nice controllers all the way. And there was one procedure that I was cleared for that just wasn't in the MCDU. The nav data didn't have it in. And I requested another one. The centre controller coordinated with the approach controller, sorted it out for me. And they're very nice. And then when I was switched over to Tower, I accidentally called up Lufthansa Tower rather than Frankfurt Tower, and then my call sign. And the controller had a bit of a chuckle. So it's not as scary as it's sometimes made out to be, I don't think. You don't need to do more to use it, MBEC. No, I would recommend you read through the pilot, what do they call it? Pilot resources, whatever it is. It's got an acronym that people in the community know that I don't. Just about procedures and things like that. And then you'll be a bit more prepared. But no, I'd say just give it a whirl. If you like it, you like it. If you don't have to do it again. Yeah, I see. This is the one thing that is pushing me towards going back to prepared, Ian. I was having a little chat about this on the VATSIM forums to see how much of a big deal it is if you have to ask for vectors because there's a missing approach procedure or something like that. And there's a variance of opinions. There are some people who say, no, it's fine, we can give you vectors, it's not a problem. We know what it's like. And there are other people who take your view, which is that, if you can't be relied upon to follow the procedures you're cleared for, then you shouldn't be there. So I don't know. I think what I'll probably do in future is plan flights very carefully. Make sure, like this one would be fine because all of the procedures are in the database as far as I can tell. So that would be fine. But yeah, I'll probably start up and try and program the MCDU before finally deciding whether to use VATSIM or not. Yeah, I haven't fired up prepared for months, and I would quite like to have another bash with the FS labs. If only to remind myself how to fly an A320 properly, rather than working around the deficiencies in this one. So we're essentially on a very long downwind leg at the moment. The airport's just around about 10 or 11 o'clock. I don't know if we can see it yet. Not really, it's somewhere over here though. I think you can now, Ian. You didn't used to be able to. Do you know, we'll try it a bit later on. We can't yet because it's not appropriate. But when we get past Whiskey Whiskey 678, we'll try a direct to Whiskey Whiskey 671 and see if it works. I've definitely done it before. I don't know if it's one of those things that only works half the time, but pretty sure I've managed it anyway. I've never tried Pilot Edge. I just don't do much flying in that part of the world. But mind you, at the same time, if you're paying them money, I'd have, if anything, expected them to be a bit more sympathetic than controllers on VATSIM are. Yeah, I'm starting to doubt myself now, Ian. So let's actually see if it works before before you believe me. But I'm pretty sure I've done it before. The thing is, the last flight I did in P3D was I don't know, probably a month ago, and I just didn't enjoy it anymore because it didn't look like I was flying in the real world. And I never thought I would be one to be swayed by eye candy over the fidelity of the aircraft, but turns out I am. Turns out it's a big part of the realism for me. Today. I think they're just shadows on the photo scenery of wind turbines. I thought there was some funky type of wind turbine I'd never seen before. Just about to cross the Danube, I think. I think this is the Danube. Hello, Jay. Welcome. Good timing. We're just on approach now to Vienna. Yeah, that's a big part of it. That's a big part of it, Killer Martian. Yeah, it's the first sim you've been able to do true VFR in out of the box, isn't it? I don't know, Eamon. I could look at using it. I think I know if I've had a good landing or a bad landing, though, to be honest with you. Right, let's turn on LS so that we can see our ILS. Yeah, that's it. If I can land with the wings level in this, then that's a win as far as I'm concerned. I made the mistake of saying earlier that I hadn't experienced the uncontrollable roll-on landing bug for a long time, which almost inevitably will mean I experience it on this landing. Something a bit funky with the ground textures here, isn't there? It's like no, like the fields have experienced some kind of sandstorm. Maybe it's alien activity, that's another possibility. Everyone's a TBM fan, and I've barely used it. I should give it a go. Once I've mastered or got somewhere with the CJ4, then yeah, I might make that my next little project. So what we'll do is we will fly to Whiskey 676 and then ask it to go direct to Whiskey Whiskey 671. I think that's the most sensible way of doing it. Oh, Jay, that's. I'm sorry it's been so long. I've had my hands full with product reviews and things. Oh, we're below the transition altitude now, so we should really do a bit of that.
Approach checklist.
Briefing.
Confirmed.
ECAM status.
Checked.
Baro ref.
1018 set.
1018 set. Minimum. Engine mode selector.
Normal.
Approach checklist complete.
How's our V approach looking? 162. Well, it seems a little fast, but we'll give it a whirl. The group flight, end to end, it's about an hour and a half without too much messing around. But I think allow 2 hours, and that'll give us some time for some sightseeing, a couple of laps over the Snowdon summit, that sort of thing. Yeah, and you shouldn't be far off. Yeah, and it doesn't matter so much when you're using an ATC add-on because they clear you to an altitude rather than a flight level, and then you know. But yeah, if they don't do that, it's very easy to forget. Right, let's try this. I should be able to do it now, actually. If we go direct to Whiskey Whiskey 671. Yeah, see, that seems to be working. No, they don't. They don't, Killer Martian. You'll have to tell her to subscribe to my channel so she can see what it's all about.
Flap swap.
Check the speed.
Oh, yes. Right, so again, I'm used to this going activating approach phase, if anything, slightly too early. But we'll do it manually now.
Flap swap.
Speed checked. Flaps 1.
So yeah, that direct 2 does seem to be working now. I'm laughing at both Killer Martian and Mbeck Mom. A lot of pressure, Mbeck Mom. But I'll do my best for you. And of course, if it goes well, it's my piloting skills. If it goes badly, it is the fault of the aircraft. So in the FS Labs I would engage approach mode now, but sometimes that makes weird things happen, so we'll try and wait for the localizer marker to move across. There it goes. Approach mode engaged. And weird things are still happening, but anyway, I think it will intercept it alright in the end. It's quite a long final. So normally I would extend flaps 2 and put the gear down before intercepting the glide slope, but I think I might wait here at least until we're at 10 miles or so. I don't know if that's prototypical or not, but it seems to make sense to me. just to keep our speed up a bit. Yeah, exactly that, Kilomarsh. I was doing some bush flying the other day with a guy. There's a group of us on the MFS Bush Pilots Discord group. But there was a guy who's a 787 captain in the real world in there. And he was messing around with his plane, doing some aerobatics. And he was flying inverted and he ended up crashing. But he just respawned and did it again. And he said, what did he say? I can't remember exactly. Something like, well, I got there in the end. And I said, that's exactly what I like to hear from a professional pilot. Right, flaps 2.
Flaps 2.
Speed checked. Flaps 2.
You're down.
Gear down.
And this is where it doesn't decrease. It should decrease your speed further down to your V approach, but it doesn't do that, so we'll do it ourselves. Press the switch the right way.
Checked.
I'm sorry, 162 is just too fast, isn't it?
Flaps 3.
Speed checked.
It sometimes does
3.
for me, Dave, but it didn't there.
Flaps full.
Speed checked.
No, I was in managed speed mode though. That's why
Flaps full.
it slowed to flap extension speed.
Cabin crew, be seated
And then
for
after
landing.
flaps 2, it just didn't decrease the speed any further. Right.
Cabin crew, seats for landing, please.
Landing checklist.
Cabin crew.
Advised.
Auto thrust.
Speed.
Auto brake.
Low.
ECAM memo.
Landing no blue.
Landing checklist complete.
Checked.
I thought it was one of those fields that couldn't be edited, but I might be wrong. I'll try it on my next flight.
Continue.
No, it's doing that rolling again. I knew I shouldn't have mentioned how that had gone away.
Spoilers. Reverse green. Decel. $70 knots.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the conclusion of our flight. Please
Well, welcome to Vienna.
fasten until the captain has turned off the seatbelt sign and the aircraft is parked safely. This will be your indication that it is safe to move around the
Yeah,
cabin.
suddenly rolled to the right. But never mind, it wasn't too bad a landing considering, I don't
We
think.
appreciate your business and we hope to see you once again on a future flight. Thank you.
Right, I'm just going to check my parking map. So we want to go back up on Delta. Oh, that's pretty easy. And we're parking at gate Foxtrot 32. Yeah, it was a really long final, I know, and that was with a shortcut as well. Okay. No. The next flight, I think, Samsonite, is going to be Vienna to Schiphol, you'll be pleased to hear. Well, the next airline flight, the very next flight, is going to be the group flight on Saturday at 1300 GMT Zulu. And all the details about that are on my Discord server, which you can find a link to in the description on YouTube. So yeah, you're all very, very welcome to join us. I've planned the route. You can download the flight plan from the Discord, from the group flight discussion channel. And yeah, it's about a 2-hour flight over Wales. There's some instructions about how to join that I've put together there as well, so you should have everything you need. Yeah, I thought you'd be pleased, Samsonite. This is Echo, not Delta, and that's what I meant when I said Delta, honest.
After landing checklist.
Flaps.
Retracted.
Spoilers.
Disarmed.
APU.
Start.
Radar.
Thanks, Desert. Good.
Off.
Predictive wind shear
no, the
system.
radar isn't off, is it? Naughty. Always forget that.
Off.
After landing checklist complete.
Well, we are flying Cessna 152s. Oh, is there? Ah, can you put a link? Oh, I suppose it's not letting anyone post links, is it? Which site is it on, Samsonite? Someone was asking if everyone had to fly Cessna 152s, and I said I think it would be nice because I'm basically doing a tour of the UK by Cessna 152. That's what this flight is a part of. But I also said, but you know, if other people want to fly other things, that's fine. So if you want to fly the TBM, feel free. But can it fly at 90 knots? I don't know. Very good, Beckman.
Taxi light off.
So we want to turn left onto EX32, which might be this one. Yes, I think it is this one. Hello M6 Seb, welcome to the stream. I'm afraid you've missed most of the fun, but we've just landed in Vienna, we're just taxiing to the gate. If you want to be there for the next one, do please follow on Twitch and or subscribe on YouTube if you'd prefer, or both. And Saturday, as I was just saying, we're going to be doing. I'm going to be doing my first ever group flight in the Cessna 152. And if you've come to my YouTube channel, which is just youtube.com/c/filbertflies, there's a link to my Discord server, and everything you need to know is on there. Other than that, there will be plenty more airliner flights coming up, probably after the weekend now. Oh, brilliant! Oh, good. I'm pleased. Yeah, I'll be gone. I'll be gone soon. Hang on, I'm going to park up and then I'll catch up with your messages then. I'm not good at multitasking when there's accuracy involved. Yes, this is the Payware Vienna. Hello, Annie. It's Filbert, but Albert's fine. You can call me Albert if you like. Don't worry, don't worry. There'll be plenty more. Right. APU bleed on. Thanks for the follow as well. Dual platform subscribers are my favourites. Right, APU bleed on, engines off. Beacon off, seatbelt lights off. Fuel pumps off. And we can connect to external power. And then we don't even really need the APU. Save the planet, that's what I say.
Parking checklist.
APU bleed.
On.
Engines.
Off.
Seat belts.
Off.
Exterior lights.
Set.
Fuel pumps.
Off.
Parking brake and chocks.
On and in.
Parking checklist complete.
What is this jetway doing? Oh dear. Well, that's a shame, isn't it? Maybe I've just parked too far forward for it, but I don't think I have. This looks about right. Right, well, welcome to Vienna once again. Yes, this is the Gaia Simulations Vienna. It was their first scenery for Microsoft Flight Simulator, so jetways were not their strong point at that point. Anyway, I'm going to have a look back over the chat. D-Designs make it, but I can't find any site. Oh, this was the Malaga. Okay, no worries. Hello, Mossy. Good. Good, I'm pleased. She can watch from the other room now she's a subscriber. She can see you in action as well as me. Yeah, the graphics are good. I mean, I've got everything on Ultra, and that works for me most of the time, despite not having an amazing system, so I'm quite lucky with that. G instead of D. Okay, what was that? G Designs, fine. We've all been called worse. Absolutely. Very good, Dave. Very good. No Marshall, Giuseppe. No, they're hit and miss for me. I think they will be there if you follow the taxi instructions of the default InSim ATC. I think you'll always get a Marshall at your gate. Other than that, sometimes you get one, sometimes you don't. Malaga is in the game now, but it's not very good. Deploy the slider. Sorry, I don't know what you mean, Eamon. Thanks. You're very welcome, Killer Martian. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Dazza, welcome to the Discord server. Thank you very much for joining me, everyone. There was one other thing that someone said. I can't remember what it was. No, I've read all that. Anyway, we'll leave it at that. Thanks ever so much for joining me. As I say, group flight Saturday. Next live stream will be Vienna to Amsterdam, which will probably be on Monday. Might be on Sunday. I'll let you know. I'll think on it, and it'll be scheduled in my YouTube channel and announced on my Discord as soon as I've made my mind up. That's it, really. So enjoy the rest of your days, all of you, and I hope to see you again soon on Filbert Flight. Filbert Flies, even. Take care. Bye.